Let's play some hockey tonight.
Energetic, passionate, and savvy. Gouche Live. Brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Gouche.
Hey, it's the Gouche right here live at the bottom line. It's lunch with Gouche and friends, and I got a couple of friends joining me. Hopefully, we're looking to see if Digit Murphy will join us, and we'll be talking a little bit about women's hockey, of course. But most importantly, I want to do a shout out, obviously, to the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated for being a big part of this new show. We're in the new studio. It's not ready yet. The official launch is November the 13th at 7 p.m. You will see the new Gouche Live studios, which will be housing, obviously, Gouche Live, Talking with Taylor, the Roundtable, and, of course, our Footy Express with Val Silva, who's here looking at the brand new studio. He's got a big smile on it because behind me will be a soccer field when his show is on, so we're really excited. Hey, listen, I want to do a shout-out to the Atlanta Braves for winning the World Series, an incredible feat. They haven't won the World Series since 1995, which is absolutely phenomenal. Hey, we are in a restaurant called The Bottom Line. My good friend Wayne Cowley has allowed us to take over this space every lunch and pre-games. We're going to be doing pre-games for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you can come on down here, get some of the best chicken wings on the planet, and of course, pick yourself up a Molson because I'm in the Molson studio. So we'll tell you a lot more about that once we get to it. Hey, listen, Jordan LaRoche is going to be producing the show. It's going to be action-packed, spectacular, and quick. All right, here it goes. Digit is here. So we're going to pull her up in just 1 second. I want to go through the NHL stories. Obviously, the situation with Beach, I don't want to get too deep into it. There is a possibility I will have him on our show to explain what's going on with obviously the Chicago Blackhawks and all the legalities and the fallout from this horrific story. Once it broke, now we've got Pittsburgh in a situation. Clark Denali is named in a lawsuit with Bill Guerin and and Mario Lemieux. We will bring you more information, but one of the coaches, former coaches from the Wilbury Stratton, he was an assistant coach, is alleging and filing suit that there was a sexual assault by the assistant coach. So we will wait to hear what this is all about, and we'll keep you informed as it breaks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so blessed to have this lady. I'll tell you what, if there's anybody that's bigger than her in the world of women's hockey, I don't know her. And this person has got a personality bigger than the Gouche, and I'm so excited to have her on. We're going to be talking a little bit of women's hockey, the Hockey Hall of Fame that's coming up with Kim St. Pierre going into the hall, and of course what she's doing to promote the great game of women's hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. Digit Murphy.
Hey, what's going on? Gooch, great to be
Hey.
here. What an introduction. I feel like, oh my gosh, am I going to, get the audience all fired up or what? Let's go. How are you?
All right, let's get on it. Well, listen, I know we're in serious negotiations to have the Digit and Gouche show where we'll be talking everything women's hockey and more. I'm really excited about that. Terry Rivard from Fired Up Network is putting these plans together with Joe, and we're so excited because I've sat with you a couple times. We'll just give a really quick history. You and I met in Philadelphia for the Johnson & Johnson charity event they do for Shoot for a Cure, which is spinal cord and concussions. And you were there as one of the coaches, along with Keith Primo. Wayne Primo was playing, and a bunch of Philadelphia Flyers. You were amazing. You took over the show. Talk to us about, obviously, the introduction you and I have together, but just you in general on women's hockey. You're a legend.
I mean, let's say a legend in my own mind sometimes. But, Gooch, thanks for having me on the show. I've been in the game, honestly, since 1972. And the interesting thing, you were just talking about that coach that was brought up for the Penguins, Clarky Donatelli. He played in the same organization as my brother did, like small world that you're talking about him in a bad way. And we can get to that. But, I've been playing, playing and coaching. I feel like longer than most of your viewers have been alive. Went to Cornell. I got to be one of the first recruited athletes in 1979 to 83. Went to a great powerhouse hockey school. And then got into hockey as the assistant coach at Brown in 1987 and didn't look back. Coached at Brown for 24 years. then coached in the CWHL for 3, won a couple of Clarkson Cups. My partner and I ended up starting women's pro lacrosse for a couple of years, went to
Jeez.
China, coached the KRS team with Hockey China. And then I went on this kind of rogue mission to start this company called Ruth that was going to connect women athletes with companies that need them. COVID hits, and I'm like, oh goodness! And that's when JoJo, John, and Miles came in and said, "Hey, Did you want to be the president of the Toronto Six?" And the rest is history. I'm here now as the president of Toronto Six. But I've always been a longtime advocate for women's sports, specifically hockey. But it's really about empowering women and using sports as a platform because we need role models and leaders, Gooch, and we need
Yeah.
them as women too, not just men. So that's a little bit of my shtick, but I'm happy to be here with you. You do great things, and that Johnson and Johnson thing was just tremendous. It's such a lot of fun.
Well,
Thanks for inviting me to that.
Well, thank you. And you're invited to this year's event. I know we're going to be talking about some great opportunities to have the women's game join us because in the Johnson Johnson family, when we host this charity tournament, there are so many incredible women that play hockey in the Johnson Johnson family. It will be our 38th annual charity event. Last year it was virtual. The year before it was postponed. This year, right now in May, it's earmarked for Philadelphia. And I know you and I have already talked about some incredible stuff, and that's all we'll say about that.
Yes.
Listen, the equality factor, obviously, I know that you've played a big part in it, and you've been boisterous, loud, which you needed to be because a lot of people were always sitting back. Sometimes that gets people on edge. Who does she think she is? Well, you know what? Who do they think I am? We are equals in it. And so I think it's really important that women's hockey has a voice, but also a person that's not scared to say black and white. A lot of times what happens, what we're seeing throughout this situation with the Chicago Blackhawks, people are sugarcoating it or they're going and everybody's trying to put their spin on it. But the fact of the matter is we need people to be black and white, and Digit, that is you. Talk to me a
Well,
little bit about the movement.
I think that I'm not going to say that women are tired of it, but I think that we've evolved as people. And don't forget, women back in the 1950s and early 60s couldn't even get a checking account without their husband's approval, right? So we've really come a long way, baby, but we also haven't come a long way because people have certain habits that they get into that they think that you can treat women a certain way. And I think what you're seeing now is a lot of women come out and be like, no, that's not cool. No, I've been silent long enough. And now you're seeing people come forward. Now, that's not to say that men are always wrong. I always say, like, I have 4 sons, I have an ex-husband. I love men, I have dads, I have brothers, but we really need to come together as men and women and figure out how to respect each other, how to solve problems together, how to solve the world problems together, like global warming. Like, you need women at the table. And we're just using sports as that platform with the Toronto Six, for example, to have role models, heroes, and leaders to be part of the next generation. So that's a little bit of what I think about it and why it's happening.
Well, talk about heroes. I had the opportunity to meet you over at York University, and on the ice was one of my favorite people, Angela James. Just an incredible human being, and what she's done for the sport. Obviously, being the first lady to be inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I was there. I listened to her speech. It was riveting just to listen to her talk and the challenges that she had to get there. And you know that yourself, Digit. You've always been second guessed by people. Even with myself, understanding that sometimes people don't understand your and when I say your views, I mean views in general. I just love sitting around talking to you. And then the added bonus, I got to see my good friend Angela James. Talk to us a little bit about the women's game now. It's gone through some transitions. Obviously, COVID has not helped it. It's been
Yeah.
broken up in different layers right now. And what you're trying to do is galvanize it, which is so, so important.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, talking about AJ, like, she's unreal. Like she's been a friend of mine for a long time because we're in the same age group. She's a little younger than me, but I've always like watched her play and been part of the conversation with what Angela James represents. And she's really about the same thing that I'm about because we're the old timers, right? We're about making sure that women's hockey in general succeeds. And we were just in Falmouth last weekend playing an exhibition game. We're around the team meal, and we're just talking about what an awesome opportunity it is in the PHF, the Professional Hockey Federation that we're part of right now, formerly the NWHL. Just to say something about that, they changed it to the Professional Hockey Federation because their new mantra is no labels, no limits. And they took the W out of the NWHL because they're like, well, we're just not women's hockey players. We're just hockey players. So that was the impetus behind the PHF. But, when you talk about Angela James and what women's hockey is trying to do, is we're trying to bring the two groups together at some point, right? We have, when I say two groups together, for our listeners that are out there, our viewers out there, there are two kind of factions going on right now. It's called the PWHPA, which is more of the Olympians, the Hockey Canada kids, some high-level players, and you have the PHF. It's interesting. There's a lot of P's and a lot of H's going on. But at the end of the day, let's bring those P's and H's together, right?
Yeah.
But, we don't begrudge them, what they're trying to do, which is, create a movement around women's hockey, which is to create like a conversation around women's hockey, as are we. But we just think about doing it a little differently. But if both groups could come together, it'd be awesome. And I think that we're going to get there sooner rather than later. I think we both had a little different understanding. They wanted the NHL to take us over. We want to work in partnership with the NHL. We don't want to be taken over by anyone again. No labels, no limits. I'm friends with lots of those guys on the other side. I recruited a lot of those athletes, probably at Brown. I know all of them, and I love them as people. And I would just like to see women's hockey succeed, like together. So I think that we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Let me say one last thing. Remember back in the day, you'll remember this. When what was it, Bobby Hull or someone went over, Gordie Howe, and they started the World Hockey League. It's no different. We're just going through iterations of evolution in hockey that the men have already had the pleasure of going through because they have a broader history. So I don't begrudge anyone anything. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep doing our thing. Let's keep developing great hockey players. And someday, hopefully, we sing Kumbaya and we come together and we laugh about the old days.
And if anybody can sing Kumbaya, it's certainly you. Hey, listen, 1972, you're talking about the World Hockey Association 50 years ago. Bobby Hull did sign a $1 million contract in Winnipeg. I was actually there. Portage and Maine. It was one of the greatest moments of hockey history. It helped elevate the game for the NHL. And I think what you're doing too right now, Digit, will do that for it. You talked about the legends of the game and the people that have helped make it. Again, this year, we've had an incredible cast and crew being inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Jerome McGinley, Doug Wilson, Ken Holland is a builder. But one of my favorites is Kim St. Pierre. Yeah. She's being inducted. Just a wonderful girl. But you know what? More importantly, not only a great human, but an incredible athlete and goaltender. Talk to us a little bit about your memories.
I remember her playing definitely for Hockey Canada, just being one of the legends, one of the ones that you could never, because, I was always on the other side. Like, I wanted Team USA to win. I'm like, geez, that kid, you can't get the puck by her. But, she was awesome. And I think she played a stint in Montreal with the C-Dub. Just always been one of the top-notch goaltenders. And you know what, Gooch? It's about time we got women in there. Not about time, but, about time we get more. And the thing that's really difficult about women's hockey right now and inducting people in the Hockey Hall of Fame is the model is based on the number of points you get, whether you're an Olympian or not. But, I think that sometimes when you're first starting off and you want to have true gender parity, maybe it's about time we start to look at the rules a little differently for women because we just don't have the history. So, I would encourage the Hockey Hall of Fame to try to think a little differently about who you can induct besides for just that great hockey player. Are there people that made a difference in the game that maybe you can make it a little more gender friendly, for the future? And I'm sure that there are people in the Hockey Hall of Fame thinking about that right now because let's face it, women are starting to just, come up to the forefront and it's awesome. I can't wait to see the next induction people in the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's going to be awesome. But thank you for inducting Kim St. Pierre.
Yeah, well, I didn't put the Hockey Hall of Fame did. Listen, I'm getting you are a legend. I'm getting so many texts how great you are. It's coming from everybody. And we see Jocelyn Hawkins, who I just love what she's done for the movement of the game. I saw it already up here once.
Jackie.
Digit, a legend. Yeah, Jacqueline, I
So
can't wait to get her back. I had her on once. I'm going to get her on more. She is absolutely spectacular and
she's a
doing so
pioneer.
great things.
She's a pioneer.
Yes.
Jackie Hawkins started the Women's Hockey Network back when it wasn't even a thing. So she is doing great things. She has a couple little kids. She's living the dream, and we need more women that are part of the conversations like Jackie. And when you think about women, sometimes they do it differently. Sometimes they work at home, they have their kids, but they're still passionate about the movement. And we need to bring those women back into the fold. And sometimes they don't feel welcome. So, women, come back in. We will welcome you in. Call Digit Murphy. I will get you to someone. We have to help each other just like men help each other. And I know I'm crazy,
Well,
but you get to be a certain point, Gooch, like you, and you just say stuff and you're like, let's make it happen.
Well, I'm doing the Nike thing, right? I'm not of that age. Just do it, and you do it. There's no question. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about obviously ladies like Jacqueline, Angela James, bringing them back into the game. Obviously, you have Angela James helping with Toronto Six. I know that we're going to be talking about a show with you and I talking the game. We need people. Jacqueline does a great job on her podcast. I'd like to incorporate her into ours. We can do a roundtable to launch the new show. Talk to me about the ability to communicate and get the message out so people can, as you articulate very well, what are the things that we need to do to help elevate the women's game? Not outside of obviously the
Yes.
fractions that are there now. That will take care of itself. What else can be done to elevate the game?
Yeah, so it's just as simple as, buying a ticket even if you're not going to go there, because one of the rubs on women's sports is that they don't have a following, they don't have a revenue stream. One of the reasons why we're in such this big conundrum in how to fix women's sports is that there's no they think that, it's going to be a multi-million dollar, television broadcast contract, and that's not how it works. We're building it organically, and what we're trying to do is get as many people buying tickets, buying merch, following us on Twitter, follow us on any kind of social media, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, buy a jersey and take a picture of it. Like, just expose other people to the sport. And also, it's really important to come to the arena and watch a game because the athletes deserve to play in front of a crowd. No athlete loves the calm crowd where it's just the parents and a couple of fans. We want to get people out there. Come on November 20th, watch the Toronto Six if you're in Toronto. We need you out there. We need your support. We need to bring a cup to Toronto. That's what we're going to do for you guys.
All right. My producer, Jordan LaRoche, and I are working with a league called the Northern Pre-University Hockey League. And I hear in the background, there's a possibility this Saturday or next, I think it's the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, 13th or 14th, you guys are going to be playing against King Heights Academy. Is that true or is that just a rumor?
That King Heights Academy, we will be playing against. Yes, I think that is true. You are
It
right.
is.
The guys that play out
Yeah.
of Paramount. I know that it's a boys team. It's a U18 team. It will be youth. It will be on November 13th. It's an exhibition. Like, it's not going to be publicized, but now it is. We'll be
Oh,
playing
I'm
at
sorry.
5:30. No. It's fine. We have it on our schedule. We just haven't really promoted it. It's really a warm up game. But anyone that does want to come out, please come out. But we're not selling tickets. It's just going to be at Canlin. And what we're trying to do is just get our, ops crew ready to take the tickets and, practice. But
Great.
yeah, come out November 13th,
Fantastic.
5 o'clock,
Absolutely.
5:30. Sorry, 5:30.
Well, Gooch Live loves Digit Murphy. I know that we're going to be doing lots
I love
together.
you guys.
I'm really excited to have you on in a short interview. We're going to be doing a
Thank you.
lot more of this. Digit, as you go, final word for you.
Just everyone, hockey is a game that everyone can enjoy, both men and women, boys and girls, young and old. Keep playing hockey, and you'll hear more from Gooch and Digit pretty soon.
All right. Love you. Thank you,
Great.
Digit.
Love you, see you, Mr. Bye.
Always a pleasure to have her on. She's so in. I'll tell you, when she's live, it's a fun interview, I'll tell you what. And we're going to get here live at this new studio. Obviously, this is our new studio. It will be a big part of our going forward lunch with Gouche and Friends right here at the Bottom Line. Obviously, brought by those great people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated and Fired Up Network with Terry and Joe. We're putting together an incredible organization to bring you the best in sports. Obviously, we focus on hockey. We'll be bringing you soccer, of course, with the Footy Show, and there's going to be a basketball show right here too. You're going to have it all covered at the Bottom Line. So I'm looking forward to it. These are their new digs. They're not ready yet. All the cameras haven't been in place. The lights haven't been in place. But look at this as we build it out. This is the first shot. This is our first live show that we're doing here. Can't thank Wayne enough. And Molson's, of course, doing it here. I'll just take a little back seat. It says Molson's Canadian, best seats in the house at the Bottom Line. And you will get that every time you show up to our show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking some time out on your busy afternoon, joining us for lunch. Now it's time for me and my crew to have some great chicken wings here at the Bottom Line. And it's all possible by obviously the people at the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated. Don't forget, Fired Up Network, we're coming in to your laptop.
You've been listening to Gouche Live with your host, Kerry Goulet, better known as The Gouche, brought to you by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.